Hello and welcome back, everybody, to this special edition of the Rushville Recap. And we have a very special guest with us here today to celebrate an important day in Rushville. So let me take it away to Brian Sheehan.
All right. This is Brian Sheehan. I'm here on a very special Rushville Recap where I am with Mayor Pavey and Lieutenant Governor Suzanne Crouch, the 52nd such Lieutenant Governor, with the 32nd Mayor. But we've had a big day today. We have invited state officials into town to celebrate our Stellarbration, which is 5 years to the date from when we presented Stellar back in 2016. So at this point, we kind of turn it over, and you got to see a little bit of our community. You got to see some of our key team members go on a tour and then go down to the Overlook, which you've dried off now from being out in the splash pad. So tell us a little bit about what you thought of today.
Oh, my goodness. Well, you know, it's programs like Stellar that really lift up communities and give them an opportunity to put in place projects that are transformational for their county and for their city. And that is what I was envisioning, and it's what I got to experience today. From your streetscapes to your vacant buildings that are now housing vibrant businesses to the park, the splash pad. You all are the celebration of Indiana today. It takes a vision, it takes leadership, and then it takes collaboration and partnership. And you demonstrated all of those in the culmination of the 5-year celebration of the Stellar designee. So congratulations to Rushville.
Thank you very much. And Mayor Pavey, on the other side, what's it mean to see state officials come and kind of recognize the work that's been done?
Oh, we are humbled that they take time out of their day to come down and recognize us. That's, like I say, it's what everyone would expect. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel like things are worthwhile. It's always good to be noticed by those people who see a lot of stuff going on in the state and telling us we did a good job. It leaves an impact on the community. I think it leaves an impact on the leaders, so we thank them.
And 92 counties that you could be at today, and you were here, which is incredible.
Well, this is the only county that had a celebration, and that is so important. And I think what I hope your listeners understand, and this is what I want to share with them, because I think this is truly phenomenal. The state put in about $6 million of investments through the grant from Okra to what NDOT provided to what our housing provided agency, and then the Arts Commission. But that $6 million state investment ended up attracting $131 million of private and local investment. So the state recognized that you were a great community and made an investment, and you took that and ran, and that built momentum where people wanted to be a part. So you all are really the model of what a stellar community should be.
Well, thank you. That's very, very nice.
And we have really enjoyed, I think, having some successes, but being able to share some of those. And we always say that with any rural Indiana community looking for help, we're glad to help, because the more we can lift the entire ship, the better it is for everyone. And certainly for your investment, the last thing the state wants to do is just make an investment that only attracts from other places in Indiana, right? I think the goal is to get more people, to develop more Hoosiers, keep what we have and get more.
That's right. And you know, what we discovered during COVID was people now can work from home. They can choose where they want to live. And vibrant kind of communities like Rushville actually have the amenities now that people can say, I can live there, I can work from home, and I can enjoy the quality of life that Rushville offers that a big city doesn't have. And I think it's absolutely transformational what you've done here.
And we've talked over the years about, hey, when's it time to do a marketing program? And Brian has been one who said, I'm not sure we're ready to market.
Well, I think I kept saying, well, if we market and say we have all these things and they come and we don't, they won't like that. So we had this 5 years of really working on it to where now we feel that.
Yeah, now we feel like, hey, it is time to market us because, we offer something, and that something is different than other communities, but it's the people here like it. And my guess is if we can tell the world, there'll be other people out there who like it too. So it is nice that the quality of life component has been a big gap that I think Stellar has helped us fill. So we do appreciate all Okra has done. And just for everybody's knowledge, Okra is one of the departments that is under the Lieutenant Governor. So that's why we continue to thank her specifically, because it is one of her programs.
And I think looking at what it can do for a small town. When we first started, the state taught us that of 92 counties, 72 were in decline, 54 in absolute decline. We were one of the worst in that area. And rather than like hide that or put it under the rug, we communicated that to the public, that this is a rally cry of why we need to do these kinds of things. So being able to go after that and then, get assistance from the state to get the ball moving, it really is unbelievable to be 5 years down the road and look around and see all the good that came from that. And I think that's a big thing for me as you guys continue to do things for rural communities is continuing to challenge communities like ours to build the capacity and the leadership to be able to do those kinds of things. And Okra has been incredible at providing those kind of opportunities for us. So we're truly thankful.
Well, Brian, I might be getting myself in trouble here, but I think the Lieutenant Governor might have maybe a press release or a date reserved in the future to talk about a new program.
That's right. I don't know that we should be talking about
well, we don't have to.
But you're absolutely right. And it's interesting because the Lieutenant Governor, the agencies that I oversee really are about rural Indiana.
Sure.
So I'm Secretary of Agriculture and Rural Development. I oversee the Housing Community Development Authority, OCRA, or the Office of Community and Rural Affairs, and then the Destination Development Corporation, which encompasses tourism. But I also head up the broadband initiative in Indiana.
Oh.
And we know that rural Indiana is our next great economic development frontier. And so to unlock that potential, we have to expand broadband like we're doing. But then we have to have investments in communities like Rushville that will lift up the community and showcase the quality of life that we have in rural Indiana. And so it's really about that partnership. And I shared, that Abraham Lincoln said that some achieve great success is proof to all that others can achieve it also. You've achieved great success here in Rushville, and you're proof to the rest of the state that they too can achieve it if they come together and work together to create a better community and a brighter future for future generations.
And I think it really is for us, taking the pride in we say leading the way in rural Indiana, and we always say, we don't say we're the absolute leader. We're one of them. There are many communities out there. I always throw out like a Madison, a Corydon, a Wabash. Huntingburg is one where Mayor Spinner is now on your team. He was here today and really helped us in our kind of chasing the stellar dream. And when we help other communities, it really comes back to a member of your team who said, come on down, I'll show you around, I'll tell you the things that worked for us. So we're confident from what we've seen. You have an incredible team. And although a new leader, one that certainly gets the trials and tribulations that happen for communities our size. So we think that's a pretty excellent pick.
But at the end of the day, it takes leadership. And Mayor Pavey, with your leadership, and Brian, with you standing alongside the mayor, you had the vision, but you also provided the leadership to make that vision a reality. And that is what we're celebrating today.
Thank you.
So what's in the future? You mentioned about you're part of the Ready.
We are. I like I say, I think winning Stellar has changed a lot of attitudes around here, a lot of confidence level, which is fun to see, because we up until Stellar, we've always said we've never won at a state level in a state sport, or in a sport, and this was kind of a new adventure. And so now that we have, like as I'm leaving the splash pad today, people are saying, hey, what's going to be next? What are we doing? And one of the things that I think that we wouldn't have been capable of doing, we wouldn't have thought of, it would have been out of our comfort zone. When they came out with the Ready program, which is you identify yourself as a region. Most of the time, people fall into typical regions, whether it's workforce, whether it's economic development. They fall into a region, and they get comfortable there, and they make an application. And we thought that we really felt like Rushville and Rush County, Shelbyville and Shelby County, Greensburg and Decatur County, and then Batesville, that is naturally really our region. And so we kind of went a little bit rogue, I would say, and created that as our region. And so we have sent the letter of intent for the Ready program, and now we are putting together our application of what that looks like. So I think I'm excited about that. I think that is, I mean, like I say, it's an evolution. I mean, there was the good old days where we thought about Rushville, and then expanded to where we probably should think about Rushville and Rush County. And now we're thinking, you know, Rushville, Rush County, and the region. And I think that it's, like I say, it's going to continue to evolve. Like we talked a little bit on the ride over to the splash pad about Wendell Wilkie and what he did after the election. And in that, she said, so, you know, what did he do? And I said, well, he wrote a book, and the book was One World. And he talked about how there is no local economy. It's a world economy. And I think that that's kind of what's happened here is kind of an evolution that I think, you know, we get it when it comes to agriculture and grain and things like that, because that is our world here. But I think thinking about everything in that manner is a good step for us. And I think the more we do that, the better we'll be.
And the really neat thing about that team, Batesville, Shelbyville, Greensburg, Rushville, all were in the stellar process. Mm-hmm. So each of those communities has had that team building exercise to be able to pull together for their community, but now to see that roll up at a regional level is pretty cool. And we had actually, we were a competitor with Shelbyville. Greensburg, we went down, this was, I think, the year following us. We went down and helped their team when they were going through Stellar. Batesville had a personal connection. I was working at Batesville when they went through Stellar. So you have a lot of team members that are aware of each other's kind of our challenges that we have, where we depend on one another and where we don't. But I think that's probably the biggest, most exciting thing, and certainly very exciting because there's, 18 regions, I think?
I think that's right, 18 self-identified regions.
Right.
You know, and what's interesting, only one county, out of the 92 counties, only one county didn't participate.
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty phenomenal. And you've got some real powerhouses in your region. And I know that Greensburg was the winner of a $150,000 Destination Development Corporation grant for their Pirates Park. Yep. And so they have, you know, gone, to your point, Brian, they've gone through that exercise of working together and having a vision for the community. So
we still say that we're not rooting for each other's basketball teams. Quite maybe it's certainly when we play one another.
What we've said is sports-wise on Friday night we're still going to root against each other. But then on Saturday or Monday, whenever it is, we all will get back together and root for each other again. So,
but it is so neat, even in that process, having the cities and the counties in the process. Is a very it's neat to see that kind of pull together. So we're very excited about that.
Well, one of the things that I think that really plays into it is Shelbyville has a lot of industry, but and this isn't an insult, but they don't have one that you go, oh wow, maybe Kanoff. I mean, that may be the one, or the casino, maybe another one. But Batesville definitely does. I mean, they have some real powerhouses down there in their industry. I would say we have. Probably Intat would probably be our biggest powerhouse, but the rest of our industries are pretty evenly balanced. And then when you get to Greensburg, they've got Honda. You have some big names out there that are going to play in the application, which I think are really exciting for us, because I think that mix of, you know, a lot of tier 2 suppliers for industry, and then you've got a couple of the tier 1s, which are neat. So I'll tell you what, it just, whether it be Stellar and whether it be educating or mentoring or whatever it's been, we do interact a ton with our neighbors now. And I think the more I think there's a saying that says it's tough to hate someone close. So in other words, if you can get far away from them, it's easy. But when you get to know them, you go, daggone it, I got to root for them. So, and being part of their team now, it's been kind of fun. It's been kind of fun and exciting.
And you do through social media. We keep in touch with each other. I follow each of the main streets of each of the other communities and vice versa. So you now are starting to see more of like, oh, wow, that's awesome, and interaction between the different communities. So I think that's a good thing. And I have always been one that is, as you go down the tiers, like, I'm super proud of my family. I love my community. I love my county. I love my state. So it's easy to expand, I think, when you do that. But the other one I would really like to mention before we get out of here was the Indiana Arts Commission. They were super troopers throughout this. Maya was there today, and the funny thing was of all the questions asked that day, she came with the hardest. And because we kept throwing in there of like, well, we want to do an artistic signage and we want something with art. And she said, I've heard art mentioned several times. What's your plan? Who's going to do that? And we just kind of froze. And I said, we don't know. We don't have the answer to that. And we're going to rely on you to help us through that process. And she said, all right. And they held our feet to the fire, helped us get the technical assistance grant. They've connected us with artists. They've just been incredible. And it's neat to see a state agency like that root for, the guys out.
And to add to that, now we have the Arts Council. So we have a local organization who does, most of the time, we will run any of our ideas through and say, hey, here's what we're thinking about doing. Tell us what we need to add, what we need to subtract. So they have helped us develop a resource that it continues to breathe life back into art. They
lead Shakespeare in the Park that will be down adjacent to where we were today, down at Riverside Park. We'll be there this Friday. Right. So just it's one of those we really try to make sure we play our horns very loudly for those that they keep an eye out for us and help us be better. So from your office all the way to all the 11 agencies that made themselves available to us, we cannot be more thankful.
Well, and as I shared, at the ribbon cutting, Helen Keller said that alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much. And today was an example of together doing so much.
Well, we thank you for being here. We appreciate it. We're not going to take any more of your time because they won't let you come visit anymore. So we do appreciate you being in town. If there's anything you want to add before you go, please feel free.
No, I just, it's great to be here to celebrate a community that has lifted itself up and provided inspiration to other communities throughout Indiana, but provided a quality of life and economic opportunity for its residents. So congratulations on a job well done.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor.
Thank you. And at this point, Nick will come up with something awesome to show us out. So back to you, Nick.
We've seen an amazing transformation in Rushville in these past 5 years, but it's important to remember that the future is still bright. The future is now, and the future is stellar. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Have a great day, and that's it for this edition of the Rushville Recap.